Welcome to the Own Your Life podcast, where our goal is to help bring hope, healing, and peace by sharing our experiences and inspiring you to own your life. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Own Your Life podcast. Today is episode 83, going to be talking about how do you handle adversity. And just want to start off with saying I hope you all are staying warm out there. We actually got super cold this past weekend in Florida. It was down in the 30s. So something hilarious that I just found out about this year is that there is such thing as falling iguanas. So other people have to worry about shoveling snow and dealing with the ice and all of that, but we have to worry about falling iguanas. So if the temperature goes under 50 for a sustained amount of time, it can cause iguanas that are already up in trees to freeze, and they can fall off the tree because they're no longer, controlling their grip on the tree. And they can fall off, and they can fall into cars, the road, the ground, whatever. And they're not dead. Well, maybe some, depending on how far they fall, but they're not dead. And they become revived when the sun hits them later in the day and warms them up, so they thaw out. I thought this was hilarious. I was actually at my dentist a couple weeks ago, and the lady helping the dentist, she was the hygienist, she was talking all about this, and I had no idea. I'd never heard of it before. So I thought that was pretty funny and just wanted to mention that. So when you're in Florida, you have to worry about falling iguanas when it's cold outside, not snow, not anything like that, but watch out for the iguanas. So just wanted to mention that. And otherwise, everybody else, I do hope that you are doing well with the weather, whatever weather situation you have. I know the Northeast just got blasted. So hopefully everybody is staying safe. And also want to shout out to the truckers in Canada. You guys are amazing. I don't even know if anybody from Canada listens to this. I know our amazing editors from Canada, but I'm not sure if we have listeners there or not. And I did want to mention the truckers in Canada. If you haven't seen it, the giant trucker convoy protesting in Canada is amazing. And I think it did make the Guinness Book of World Records. I believe it was going to, if it hasn't already, for the largest convoy ever. And that's pretty impressive. And they are fighting back against all the COVID measures. So just wanted to mention that as well and let you know that this podcast is now on Rumble. Yay! So I am slowly but surely uploading the episodes to Rumble. I did decide with Matt to upload all of them. I didn't know if I should just start with the most recent, and kind of just go from there as they come out, or to do the all, 83 now that we have, including this one. So slowly but surely, I will be uploading all that over to Rumble. I do want to make sure that we are on, as many platforms as possible, and especially platforms that value free speech and will not censor us or cancel us, because I feel like it's only a matter of time before YouTube tries to pull this down, and I wouldn't be shocked. Another funny thing about that, and just want to caveat before we get started, is this was maybe 5 months ago, I think it was still summertime, maybe fall, that YouTube pulled down my account for video games. So if you're not familiar with a lot of video game YouTubes, is that people do a YouTube video of themselves playing a video game and beating a boss, or, getting a secret in the game or whatever, just showing how to do it. And I've done that with certain bosses in certain games, and I've just uploaded those videos. It's very common. People do this all the time. And I got an email saying all my content was pulled because it was inappropriate, violated their policy, and that I'd received several warnings to take it down and didn't do anything about it. And none of that is true. I never got a single warning that anything was inappropriate. And I didn't violate any of their policies. I feel like that was at the time when I started speaking out on this podcast, which is a totally separate account from that one. And that I'm guessing maybe they deleted the wrong one, just a guess. I know I'm nothing compared to like a Dan Bongino or Charlie Kirk or somebody who has millions and millions of views. But I thought that was funny that they pulled down my video game account, and I protested it. Like, you can rebuke or rebuttal it, whatever. It gives you the link. Like, if you feel like this was done inaccurately or whatever, like, let us know. Let us know you can fight it. So I did. And they, sure enough, they put it back on a couple days later. They were like, oh yeah, this was done in error. We're so sorry. Everything's been reinstated. Your channel's back up and everything's back to normal. And I just thought, this is ridiculous. If I said nothing, it would be gone. It's just crazy. So watch your stuff out there, but just wanted to put our stuff on Rumble because I do believe in free speech and being able to speak your opinion. I value other people's opinions too, and you are entitled to your own opinion. So I don't think everybody should think the exact same thing. I think we should be able to get along and converse over our differences and still be okay with that. I don't want everybody to be, a puppet in the same exact person with the same exact thoughts. That's quite creepy. So I do value all the free speech and everything. And with that, how do you handle adversity? And I know for me, at least a lot lately, like I feel like I've been sucking wind. Like I feel like so many days that I've maybe not gotten things completed that I wanted to, like goals or whatever, or even with this podcast, like sometimes I've felt like, man, did I add value to anybody? I hope so. And times I felt like I haven't. And then I've just, I trust our editor so much. Like I used to in the beginning, listen to the podcast after we recorded it and then send it to him and then listen to it when he sends it back and then, listen to it again once it comes out. And I totally trust him with the work that he's done for us. And I don't listen to it till it comes out now. Like after I record it, I send it in. I'm like, well, I hope that was good. I think it was good. Sometimes I feel like I've just been rambling on. But then I listen back to some of them and I'm like, wow, that was actually a pretty decent message. And I feel like it's been, and I know it's super biased. It's me. Like there's times that I've thought I've had terrible messages and other people have said otherwise, but I do feel like, I've still been able to add value, hopefully enough to add value to at least one, if not a lot of you, to help you own your lives. But that it does happen. Like times you might feel like you are not doing very well. You might be doing a lot better than you think. And sometimes it is when it just comes from the heart and it's not a totally scripted, rehearsed or anything like that message or whatever it is you're doing, maybe presentation or whatever it is for your business or school, that sometimes it is better just coming from the heart and just from what you feel inside. So I feel like there have been times that I have done that, just gone off of very little to no notes. And there's other times that I've gone off of pages of notes. So I think it just, has depended on whatever it was that I talked about. But I feel like for this one that I just want to be honest and like, I don't have it all together by any means. And I hope that gives a lot of you hope that like, you don't have to have it all together to do what you want to do in life and to make an impact on people and to, bring positivity into people's lives. I think that so many of us think that we have to have it all together. We've got to be an expert in whatever field it is to be able to say anything. And I would say that that's not the case. To go ahead and make the moves now. And it's not going to be perfect and it doesn't have to be. Even experts make mistakes. So don't think that everything has to be perfect. I think perfection is just a huge lie and it's very unattainable for everybody, unless you're Jesus. And I'm sure none of you are. So just know that whatever it is you're trying to do, that take the chance and do it. And don't think you have to have everything perfect to do it. And with adversity, when it comes, like, what do? How do you handle it? Do you run and hide? Do you resort to maybe a bad habit? Are you somebody that starts to drink heavily when you hit a lot of adversity? Or do you do drugs? Or do you eat a lot? Or do you go for a walk? Do you read? Do you do something more positive? Do you get around people if maybe you're feeling lonely? Maybe you're the only one who's going through this. Do you hold everything in or do you share it? Do you guilt or shame yourself into feeling a certain type of way? I know I'm definitely guilty of that. And that's the word. But I definitely have done that. I've guilted and shamed myself, or I've replayed scenarios in my head over and over and over again to the point where it just like drives me crazy. And I know that that is not the healthiest way to deal with any kind of issues or adversity that you come upon. that there are better solutions for it. And I think right now, like, we're all tired. All of us are tired. We're so tired, whether it's from the COVID stuff, wearing a mask, not wearing a mask, getting a vaccine, not getting a vaccine, crazy stuff with our jobs, with our kids, with school, with travel, all of it. Like, I feel like so many of us are just over it and we're just tired and we're so ready to move on with something else. And I know that I feel it. I do feel it too. I'm not immune to any of that. I know I'm definitely outspoken about the way I feel, but I get tired too. I get tired and exhausted with all of this, and it's a lot. It's a lot to process. This is a huge time in history that maybe you don't think that right now, but looking back, you're going to see this is crazy. What we're going through right now, this is crazy. This is not normal. The inflation is through the roof, which if you've been grocery shopping lately, I hope you have. If you're eating, it's insane. Some things that used to be half the price a year ago, like this is not okay. This is not sustainable. And we definitely need to do something about it. And with all this adversity that's coming, this is really going to show us in, I don't know, 5-10 years, maybe more, maybe less, who stuck through it, like who got through it better than others. Because there are going to be people that are going to rise out of this and that are going to be doing amazing and leading people, whether it's through freedom rallies or whatever it is, things like that, or being like the truckers in Canada, doing that, being on the, the right side of history, quote unquote. Or are you going to be the person that just sits behind and watches, or are you going to be on the other side and you're just, you're with all of it and you're cool with all the control. And I would suggest if you are, maybe you're probably not owning your life, and but that's okay. Thanks for listening to this anyways. Maybe I can change your mind. But I do think, this is a huge testing time for all of us. And a quote from John Maxwell about adversity is that adversity can signal a coming positive transition if we respond correctly to it. And I do believe in that, because I think that there's so many people that go through hard things, and you could see two different people going through probably a similar enough thing. And one of them is going to handle it very well and grow stronger because of it, learn the lessons from it. And yes, it sucked, whatever it was, if it was, something bad. But they didn't dwell on that. They took the best out of it and made themselves better. And then there's going to be somebody on the other side who's going to let that determine their future. They're going to become the victim to it, blame it for things. Oh, I didn't get this because of that, because I went through that. If that didn't happen, then I would have this, or I would have that, or that would be my job, or that would be my life, or whatever it is, using that as their excuse. And then there's somebody else who's going to use it as a reason to grow and get better. So with all of this that's happening to us, with all the adversity and everything that's going on, how are you handling it? How are you going to handle it? Because it is not over. And, we don't know what's to come tomorrow. We can only handle with what's coming today and staying focused on the present. But it's really reevaluating where you're at. And if you don't like where you're at, the cool thing is you can change it. You can change it right now. You don't have to have done everything perfect for the last, 24 months that we've been going through a at least worldwide pandemic together. That you can choose today, that you want to do something about it, and you can change the trajectory of your life, because you are in control of your life and you do have that choice. And I do think that there's so much going on, and so much that we can learn from right now. And that this is going to be something, we're going to be talking about forever. Unfortunately, we're going to be mentioning this forever. Like, you're going to look back 30 years like, oh, I remember when COVID-19 hit and I was doing this and I didn't think it was that big of a deal and blah, blah, blah. And I know at least that's how I felt. I remember hearing it November, December of 2019. And I was like, oh, whatever, it's just another virus. I was just thinking like the swine flu. I'm like, who cares? Whatever. People are going to get sick. They'll be fine. Unfortunately, yes, people are going to die. People die from the flu every year. So why would this be any different? And that, whatever, we'll get over it and we'll move on. And then 3 months later, when everything shut down, then it became very real of what was going on, to some extent, to what we knew then. And then obviously how much we know now is pretty crazy. And with all the adversity and everything, how are you coping? Like I had said before, what do you turn to? Or do you turn to God? Do you lean into him and look for answers through God or the Holy Spirit or Jesus. And I know for me, that's what's gotten me through so much adversity. I've had bad coping mechanisms in the past, and sometimes I still do now. I know for me, it's eating. If I'm super anxious, I don't eat. But if I'm super depressed or sad about something, then I tend to overeat. So it's just kind of funny. It's very emotionally based, that I definitely have been working to overcome. But I have noticed, obviously, with all this going on, that it's happened. I've slipped into both of those. And the biggest thing for me has been leaning into God and leaning into the Bible. And if you're not religious, or if you're not spiritual, or if you don't believe in God, then, this might not be for you. But I would, if you don't have Jesus, that maybe that's something that you do need in your life. And I do believe you do, but maybe you don't feel that way. And I feel like if all of us were to lean into God with all of our issues and everything, and really become more spiritual with that, things would be very different. Things would be a lot different. And it's really looking at, your source. How are you coping with things, and what are you leaning into when things go not the way you planned? Not all adversity is bad, but a lot of us automatically think of adversity like, oh, what's like the worst thing that could happen, or what's happening now, or things that are bad. It's obstacles to overcome. It's really all about mindset and how you handle it. Mindset, emotions. Do you just shut down? Do you just become super angry? Do you want to fight everything? Or do you just run away and want to hide, not talk to anybody about anything, and just bottle it all up? It's really just evaluating that. And I think right now, like this is pivotal in all of our lives. How do you want to handle this? How do you want your kids to see you handle this? How do you want your coworkers, or maybe you're a manager or an owner of a business, and people are looking up to you for guidance, and people are watching you. So you can say whatever you want to say, but what are you actually doing? Because that's what they're watching, especially for children. They're watching what you do. You could tell them all the right things, but if you're not doing them, that's what they're going to go off of, and that's what they're going to remember. So it is so important for us to, take advantage of this time. And you might feel like there's no way. I don't know how I can do that. But there's something that we can all learn out of this and grow and get stronger and choose the way that we want to handle the adversity. We can let it ruin everything, or we can let it make us better. And that doesn't take away how much it sucks going through it. But it's really your mindset and how you view it and your attitude through the whole process of what we're going through. And I just want to encourage you today that if you don't like the way that you're handling all the adversity happening right now, that you can change it. It is a choice. And maybe it's getting around more positive people. Maybe there's somebody, a coworker that that they read a lot, or they seem a little bit more positive than some other people. Maybe it's asking them, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing every day to get through this? Because it's hard for everybody. And maybe that's it. Finding someone that you can link arms with and be support for each other. And especially with your family, like that's huge, have everybody supporting everybody through this, and knowing that we are going to get through it. It's going to happen. And it's really all your outlook. And I truly believe that God has all of us, and that he is not going to, turn away from us and let terrible things happen. Yes, horrible things have happened, but like the worst case scenario of a lot of things, I feel like he's with us, and that we can get through anything, and we can have a positive mindset about it, even if it's bad. And we can also learn from it and grow stronger from it, and not use it as, our blaming tool and becoming a victim from it. So with that, thank you guys for listening. We appreciate all of you. Please share this message. Please subscribe. Please rate and review us. And until next time, own your life, because your life is your responsibility. Thank you all for listening. If this added value to you, please click subscribe and rate and review us. You can also find us at Own Your Life Co. on Instagram and Facebook, and ownyourlifeco.com. And as always, own your life, because your life is your responsibility.